Now we will have Galin, the CEO of Matomy.
The economy of BS. AR, VR, blockchain, of course GDPR, and all these buzzwords, nobody can live without them these days. I'm here to show you something slightly different. Starting with an intro. So first of all, for those who don't know me, my name is Liam. I'm coming from totally different industries. I started with telecom, then moved to healthcare, cyber, and eventually ended up in ad tech. Since January, I'm the CEO and president of Matomy Media Group. And as such, I'm here to give you a different view of stuff. Matomy, to those of you who are not familiar, first of all, you should be, has been around since 2007 and has done pretty well for itself. It evolved several times throughout the years. But like many others, we face the same challenges that all of you are seeing these days. I'm not an ad tech veteran, as I said, but I do have more than 2 decades of experience in managerial capacity, in technology, in different markets. And I think that after being with the company for 4 months and previously consulting 2 other companies, after 9 months of being in the ad tech world, I think that I bring a different view to what others are seeing. So first of all, let's take care of the elephant in the room. What is BS? Everybody knows. It's not the vulgar meaning that you all refer to. It's more towards it can be business success, but in this presentation, I refer more to buzzword surplus. Too many buzzwords in a single industry. So let's start with the fact. Everybody knows our industry is in distress. Okay, not too many people acknowledge that, but the industry, the ad tech industry, is in distress. It's competitive, it's condensed, and the big majority, 90% of the money is going to 2 giants, or almost 2 giants. Better? Yeah. I'll start from scratch now. So most of the money is going to 2 giants that are taking a big portion of the pie. We, the industry players, are seen as sharks. But the reality is that trust has been lost. Trust has been lost between vendors, users, clients, and partners. We are lacking innovation. We as a whole, the industry is lacking innovation, and we cling to a set of buzzwords promising the next new thing. We're distracted by these buzzwords, and we're paralyzed by some of them. We all know privacy, right? The big woo. And ultimately, unimportant issues. Why am I saying that? Because I invite you on a short journey of clarity. For a second, let's look into the different details. So we start with the assumption of privacy, right? I'm here to tell you that the assumption of privacy in today's world is BS. Now you can choose whichever BS you feel like. We are told that the target audience of our industry, it's not me, I'm a dinosaur, it's the 16 to 36-year-olds. We're told that we need to take care of their privacy, but you know what? They don't care about their privacy. They post left and right in dozens of different social networks, they buy online, they share their lives endlessly. The baby boomers and the Gen X dictate for these kids, and forgive me for calling them kids, what they need to do about their privacy. You know, it's the geezers, the old geezers that are in Washington or in Europe are saying, we need to protect the kids. But you know what? These kids know how to protect themselves. So the truth is more layered than that. I really like this quote. I think it's time for us as an industry to understand what these kids want. Who are those kids? You know this guy, right? And you see the face. It's Mark Zuckerberg and his team. I'm sure all of you remember about a month ago his great talk in front of the Congress, where eventually all the world saw how the old guys have no clue. I don't know if many of you have seen that when they ask him, so how does Facebook make money? Interesting question. So our world is actually their world. It's the world of the millennials, the 16 to 36, and definitely not the Gen X or the baby boomers who are trying to set the stage. Today's consumers are tech savvy. They understand what they do, they breathe and dream social networks. They do everything on their mobile, tablets, any kind of devices. The assumption of privacy is evolving. You know, when I'm talking to people in the States, first of all, there is a very interesting article that was published in Forbes. Sarah Landman wrote, and I quote, "Millennials are at once surprisingly optimistic and hopelessly cynical about data security in our internet-dependent world." So Gallup have researched and found out that, first of all, most of the millennials will say that businesses keep their data safe. Two, they say that they trust social networks to protect their data. And three, they're aware of the fact that data is being breached. They don't care. We all know Alexa and Google at Home and Siri, and all these are eventually breaking up the privacy of people. But you know, we keep on going to the same issue, privacy, privacy. Everybody who installed Google at Home has cameras watching them 24/7. That's not privacy. So no presentation is whole without the big word GDPR. GDPR sucks. Big time. So what? It's there, get over it. I think that we've discussed enough GDPR. By the way, for those who are unfamiliar with what GDPR stands for, I was recently told that it's a geoface duopoly protects its revenues. Just FYI. But it's there, it's a phase, it's a done deal, get over it, move on. We cannot talk about GDPR forever. Blockchain. How many times have we heard about blockchain? And there's going to be an interesting talk about blockchain. I truly believe in this technology, and I'm looking forward to see how it's going to evolve. But folks, put the buzzwords aside. Blockchain is not there yet. Okay, it's not ready, technology-wise, to be accepted in the ad tech world. Yes, there are some initial signs of it. Even Facebook announced, I think 2 or 3 days ago, that they're opening a new research department around blockchain. But they also stated in that press release that it will not come to anything commercial in the next few years. So another buzzwords that we need to follow up closely, but it's not there yet. AR/VR. Let's talk about AR/VR. Everybody talks about AR/VR. And it's been around for quite some while, and there's constant improvements. But the last time that I saw people watching ads on an AR and more importantly VR machines, except for trade shows, it's still not there. So it's becoming huge or not, but still a buzzword that's today's world. Why viewability is still a thing? You know, last time I remember when I watched TV and 50% of ad spend is going to TV, when I went to the bathroom, nobody measured whether I see the ad or not. So where people spend, where advertisers spend 50% of their budget, viewability is a non-issue, but when it comes to the tiny handset, it becomes an issue. Another buzzword in my mind that is generated as part of our industry trying to create business between ourselves mostly. Fraud. Let's talk about fraud. Fraud is an enemy. It's a fact. And we see solutions popping up left and right to deal with fraud because it costs a lot of money that goes down the drain. But there is a difference between taking care of fraud and between being paralyzed by fraud. And you see many vendors in our industry just being paralyzed. Hey, fraud is killing the business. No, it's not. So about a year ago, I had a startup that was able to retrieve stolen credit card numbers from the darknet. And we were able to show that 80% of the cards that we retrieved were unknown to the credit card companies. We were able to show savings of anywhere between $700 million to $1 billion annually to the credit card companies. A big amount, right? So we went to the credit card companies and we talked to MasterCard and American Express and Visa, and they all say the same. in a multi-trillion dollar business, this is the cost of doing business. So yes, there is fraud, and as long as we maintain it in a low level, it's the cost of doing business. We will never be able to eliminate fraud. We can lower it, but we'll never be able to eliminate it. And you need to remember, when we talk about fraud, we shouldn't be afraid of the sharks, because ultimately, we are the sharks. Not the dangerous predators, the fraudulent ones, but we are the sharks of this industry. We're powerful, and you know, it's a fact that a shark needs to move constantly. When they stop moving, they die. And that's us in this industry. When we stop moving, being paralyzed by fraud, we will die. So going back to the BS, the buzzword surplus, too many buzzwords. So your question should be, great, you've just killed every new aspect of this industry. What do you recommend? So what happens if we take the fancy toys away? We say, hey, let's put the future, the long-term future aside, and let's look, what should we do today? The answer is pretty simple. We need to refocus on the one thing we know to do and we know to do best, and that's the user. Somewhere along the line, we just forgot the user. Put the buzz aside. Let's do what we know to do best. We know how to find the user. We know how to estimate what they want. We know to provide what they want at the right time, at the right place. So let's go back to the basics. We talk about focus. Focus should be on value. This is where the important part is. And the question is, can we do it? Yes. You know, we talk a lot about programmatic. Have we exhausted programmatic? Not at all. We haven't touched the surface of it. The distance between what we can provide value to the users and what we see today, the bombardment of irrelevant ads, is huge. This is where we need to focus. So programmatic, in my mind, is still the thing. It's the one that we need to focus on, it's the one that we need to improve. We have so much to improve in that, but we're always going towards the buzzwords. So let's be excited about the buzzwords, but let's focus on where we can bring the real value. Filter the noise. Again, if I had a cent for every time I heard the term GDPR, viewability, fraud, AR/VR, I'd probably have been lying down on the beach enjoying sangria. So you need to filter the noise. You need to focus on the user. You need to focus on the data and never stop. Remember, sharks can never stop. We see the light at the end of the tunnel. I believe so.